we're all putting together. We're all going to be part of it, and that's where the hope is. And I just want to thank you, Governor, for the leadership that's been provided, and honestly, the leadership of every single individual in this team.
Back to the Heights vertically challenged microphone here. Okay, again, Mayor General Gentwell, Washington State Attorney General. Just some brief comments. So I'll just say I went out for a drive last night, and I went up into a lot of the burn areas. I want to tell you, I've moved to a lot of places around the world, lots of good places around the world, and I can tell you today that that's a war zone. When you finally get in there and you finally look at the devastation and the damage, and it's going to be pretty interesting as people go in there and to just grapple with the damage and grapple with the fact that their lives are forever changed. Some of these folks may not recover. Some of those folks may not rebuild in there, and it's going to continue to be, I would say, a very significant emotional event for this community long term. Again, we're still in the fight. There's still a lot of stuff smoking. There's still a danger. There's going to be a lot of questions about when can we get back. It's going to take some time. You heard the state leadership talk about patience. It's going to take some patience. So just take a moment and step back and just sort of talk a little bit about where the state is at. The governor hit some of those points, some of the very specific actions that we're taking with respect to FEMA. And a lot of that stuff is breathtakingly fast. It's moving at a pace that generally the system doesn't move at. But for those that don't know, we have an organization within the Washington Military Department called the Emergency Management Division. So really since June, our Emergency Management Division has activated the State Emergency Operations Center. And that is a center over in Camp Murray that brings together over 300 people from across 15 different state agencies. That system has been activated really since June, and it's only because it started from a pretty good job pace that it's able to get in and help to adjudicate these resources. At the National Guard level, we have the Joint Operations Center at Camp Murray. That's the nerve center, bringing in the National Guard team that helps us plan and forward deploy all the National Guard folks that are out there. And these are folks that you're not necessarily seeing in Spokane. The 3 helicopters are up at Deer Park. It's 110 firefighters that are out on the little giant fire and plane. It's the 2 additional helicopters. As we scrubbed our entire list of aviation assets, we freed up an additional CH-47, a twin rotor helicopter that dumps a lot of water at once, and another UH-60 Blackhawk helicopter to be staged out of the Wenatchee area. Again, I want to make sure, yes, we are focused on Spokane, but we are also focused on the number of other complex issues and catastrophes occurring across the state of Washington. I'm going to close with this. The Washington National Guard still has resources available for tasking in the Spokane area. So again, to the community members, to the leaders here, to the officials here, use us. We are in, put us in, coach. We've got a lot of things we can do, but we have to wait until we're asked. The last thing you want in this community is the National Guard rolling around uninvited. So please ask us, and we're ready to chip in and keep this community covered. Thank you, and I'm Spokane County leadership.
Hello, I'm Spokane County Commissioner Josh Kearns. I'll keep my remarks short. I just want to encourage folks, please do not be flying drones near any of these fires or the areas that have been burned. The FAA has put in new flight restrictions. Please do not fly drones. When drones are in the air, that means the aerial assets that are helping fight the fire cannot be in the air. Please do not fly drones. Also, please respect the evacuation areas. Those are for your safety. We know individuals are going back in to look at the damage. It is very dangerous. As it's been stated already, these wildfires are very unpredictable. We don't know where they're going to go next. We don't know if things are going to spark, if there is a hot spot, it is very dangerous. Please be safe. Please prioritize your health and your safety. And I would also just like to thank everybody that's been involved. Thank you to all of our first responders, our law enforcement, our firefighters, those that are that have come to our area to help put out these fires. Big shout out to the Red Cross and the Public Facilities District for opening up the convention center, for the evacuation center. I'm told they still have capacity. The convention center can flex that space up to 120,000 square feet if needed. So please, if you know folks that need to access that, tell them there is capacity, and the convention center is still open for those dates. Thank you.
Okay, folks, we have just a few minutes for questions. The governor's on an extremely tight schedule, so we have just about 5-10 minutes for questions.
Governor, you mentioned that those resources from FEMA are on the way. What are they, and how do you think they will help at this point?
Yes, I believe this is the type of thing that we are requesting, right? Search and debris removal, sheltering housing, right, on a short-term basis. So at the 9 a.m. call, when I received a briefing from that, FEMA made it clear they weren't waiting for the approval because it takes some time to logistically get those resources here. They already started that process to literally move those resources to Washington State, presumably pending an approval, obviously. So we anticipate that that will be approved. Similar request granted for the flood situation we had in December. What I appreciate is that the government's not waiting around for the logistics of getting it approved. They're literally moving those resources in. So we made a broad request for everything we've heard from local jurisdictions of what they need. So when we put in that request, is based completely on what we hear from local leadership. Here's what we need, Governor, to request from the federal government. That's what goes into our request. That request was made yesterday, I think I was on a call with them at like 1:30 yesterday afternoon. And so they have all the information they need. And just want to emphasize, we appreciate how quickly FEMA has moved so far. I think the general reference is it's fast, and we're hoping for approval very soon.
Do you have an update on how many people are unaccounted for, or do you feel like you still everybody's
coming forward to the local folks on that?
So as I mentioned yesterday, and I'm speaking for Spokane County, the unincorporated section of these affected fires. We had about 290 911 calls, broad ranges, not necessarily missing persons, of people we felt we should try to locate. We got through all the 14 of them yesterday. We were able to locate people by phone. I do not want people to think that we have 14 missing people. These are people who may have called for help or for help evacuating, and many of them likely did get evacuated. With poor cell phone coverage, people's cell phone batteries die, or they get to some place, they do find shelter, and we haven't been able to reach them by phone. So that's the task for, at least in Spokane County, for those 14 people that we haven't just been able to talk to in person. So I don't want to qualify them as people. The people we're just trying to confirm are fine. So, and again, what we're asking is if you know people who are living in these affected areas, and you haven't been able to contact them, and maybe you haven't reported them as missing, make sure you call Crime Check at 509-456-2233 and make a missing persons report. And in both the city of Spokane and the Spokane County Sheriff's Office have people dedicated to working those cases.
Sheriff, we've heard reports about.
Apologies for the confusion. Dave Upthegrove, Class Commissioner had a few words he wanted to say, and then we'll resume the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I am interested in speaking briefly to put this in context with everything that's happening this day right now. My name is Dave Upthegrove. I am our state's elected Commissioner of Public Lands, where I serve as Director of the State Department of Natural Resource, who's the responsible for wildland fire response. This is an extraordinary fire season. This is going to shape up to be a historic fire season in Washington State and the Pacific Northwest. Today, there are 17 major fires burning in Washington State, covering 262,000 acres currently on fire. And we are nearing 500,000 acres burned this summer in Washington, and it's in early August. Fortunately, we've prepared, we've pre-positioned new equipment, we've trained a world-class firefighting force, we have the mutual aid agreements in place, and I want to express my thanks for the complex incident management team. I think we had a team on this fire as fast as I've ever seen, and some of the best professionals in the nation. I also have been so impressed with the local fire districts, as well as the city and county emergency response agencies. They are the first on the scene, and they're working collaboratively. And I just want to keep in mind that we have 5,000 people out there fighting fires in this state right now. And so behind every one of these images we see that's so devastating, there is a young firefighter running into the woods, putting their lives on the line. And we should feel really proud of our responders and all of the people who support them. And that's what gives me hope, even in a time of tragedy like this, the degree to which everyone is working together and pulling in one direction with a simple mission to keep all of us safe. And the state is proud to be a partner of that. I will turn it back over for questions.
We've heard reports of armed looters. Can anybody speak to whether or not there are armed looters going through these fires in Spokane County?
I can speak to the city. We've had multiple reports. We've unfounded each and every report that's come into the city. We've responded. We have both National Guard, city police, and deputies working together in collaboration to protect everybody's properties. And we will continue to do so. And we're using a host of different tools, technology to assist